why our students are not enjoying science. We know that science is the mystery and it's very beautiful and it's very mysterious and it's the hidden treasure of our universe. But when it comes to enjoying science, it's totally absent in Bangladesh. When it comes to our school and our science teachers, they're highly rigorous. Okay, they're highly rigorous and they are not interesting as they should. Okay, so students just studying science for the sake of to become doctors and engineers, but it's not they are solely responsible for this situation. It's up to us. I mean, those who we are parents, teachers, and also family members. We are pushing and we are forcing our students, our kids, to become doctors and engineers. Of course, doctors and engineers, these two professions are highly important in our society. But when it comes to scientist, being scientist is more valuable in our country, not only in our country but also in the whole world. Because when it comes to a scientist can change not only a society but also a scientist can make a great change and make an impact to the world, because our world is full of problems. And take for example climate change, aging problems, cancer, dementia, lots of problems. And especially we need salt tolerant, we need heat tolerant crops. We lack it, and especially Bangladesh is a very highly vulnerable to climate change. We need many climate scientists, but we lack it, and we are highly dependent on foreign scientists. But what about our students? I mean, our national students. If we prepare them as a scientist, climate scientist, we can save huge money, because instead of hiring foreign scientists, we can utilize our own national scientists. But unfortunately, our national students, they are just going foreign country for research, as we are not allowing them to do research in our own country. That's why it's our failurity, and especially failurity of our government, failurity of our university, because our university lecturers and especially our university professors, they are busy with politics, they are not busy with research. That's the case. Okay, and also of course our government always focus on just superficial development, so that they can make eyewash and they can inspire common people, but they are not researching. I mean, they are not investing money on research, scientific research. That's why we are highly poor country. Still we are highly developing country. We are not able to become developed country. It's because we have doctors, engineers, but we don't have scientists. We need scientists, and that's why we need to make our science education very interesting, very meaningful. And especially children, kids and students, they love experimental learning rather than lecture based learning. Our school's science education, science is highly lecture based, lecture oriented, and students needs to go to private center and coaching center, and they're just listening to lecture, and lecture is very boring. But when it comes to experimental and practical based education, and especially it is science education, of course this education will change our students' minds. This way, by participating in experimental science education, students will be able to learn science more and more interestingly and with enjoyment, and that matters. So I think we should change our science education, and we should remove rigorous lecture based science education, and instead of lecture based science education we need to introduce experimental science education, so that children can relate science with their real life. I hope you guess my concept. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.